Today, Bitcoin continues its rise, briefly crossing above $66,000. Morgan Stanley reveals it held hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin ETFs in Q1, and Tiago Sada, with Worldcoin's parent company, Tools for Humanity, explains a new system the Worldcoin Foundation's launching aimed at setting a new standard for data protection. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Brandon Gomez. Bitcoin is in the green again this morning after briefly crossing above $66,000. By noon Eastern, the cryptocurrency was back down to the $65,000 level. Ether, meanwhile, taking a breather, falling to $29.57, but Solana getting a boost to $160. Okay, let's talk about the top stories for today. Morgan Stanley scooped up hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin ETFs in the first quarter. The investment giant reported to the SEC that it held around $269 million of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust at the end of Q1, and another $2 million of the ARK21 shares Bitcoin ETF. We've been waiting to see just how quickly major investment firms take on these new products, and we expect to learn more as the SEC's deadline closes for investment firms to disclose their first quarter holdings. Next, the Department of Justice charged two brothers for a $25 million crypto heist. According to the indictment unsealed yesterday, James and Anton Pereira-Bueno are being charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. The DOJ alleges both men exploited the Ethereum network by posing as validators and redirecting the pending transactions to steal the $25 million within just 12 seconds. The brothers graduated from MIT, and U.S. Attorney Damian Williams from the Southern District of New York says the brothers, who studied computer science and math, quote, allegedly used their specialized skills and education to tamper with and manipulate the protocols relied upon by millions of Ethereum users across the globe. Their father, James Pereira of MIT, when asked about the arrests, told CNBC, "We are in shock. We don't even know what's going on," and declined to comment further. Last, a developer behind Tornado Cash has reportedly appealed a money laundering conviction in Dutch court. A spokesperson for the court reportedly told CoinDesk that Alexei Pertsov is appealing a 64-month sentence that was handed down to him on Tuesday. The report said that it could take months for that appeal to happen, but that Pertsov could remain in his home until his new trial. As we mentioned on Tuesday, two other developers of the crypto mixer also face allegations of money laundering and sanctions violations in the U.S. One of those developers is still on the run, while the other will head to trial this September. All right, for our main story, the Worldcoin Foundation, the group behind the eye-scanning identity platform, announced it's launching a new secure multi-party computation system. The goal? Well, setting a new standard for data protection. After that announcement yesterday, Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Tiago Sada, head of product, engineering, and design at Tools for Humanity. He walked her through the new system and what else the foundation is doing to address privacy concerns.
The Worldcoin Foundation just announced that it launched a new system aimed at data protection. That includes the protection of biometric data. I'm told this is the first time the technology has been successfully implemented at this scale and could provide a model for big tech and others to adopt in an effort to protect user data. Can you take us through how this new system works and how it can potentially serve as a model for other companies?
Yes, so as you're saying, the Worldcoin Foundation today announced a big breakthrough in a type of cryptography called secure multi-party computation. And basically what this means for Worldcoin is that it's immediately even more private and even more decentralized than it was already. And so to take a bit of a step back, the way this cryptography works is you take a bit of data and you can split it into a bunch of little pieces and you scramble those pieces so that each of those pieces you cannot even read like that part of the data. And then you can do operations on them, or you can use that data without ever fully bringing it back together. So what that means is that if one of those pieces ever gets hacked, people don't get access to the full information of all of your data.
Now, as we all know, Worldcoin's eyeball scanning device called an orb, which I actually see right behind you, got a lot of heat over privacy concerns. Now, the Worldcoin Foundation also just announced that after the migration of the iris codes to the new system, it, quote, securely deleted the codes of users collected when people who signed up for the Worldcoin project had their eyeballs scanned by the devices. How are you able to securely carry this out?
Yes. So to take a bit of a step back of how the system works is biometric systems in general, like when you think about what an airline does at an airport or what a government does, is they take the biometric data and they put that on a server, right? World ID already before this upgrade was already much more private and secure than that. Because the way it worked is your data, your verification data actually lives on your phone, on your personal device, so only you have access to it. And the only thing that lived on a server was this thing called an iris code. And that iris code is, on a technical sense, is something like a hash, which is almost like a scrambled version of your iris, right? And what this upgrade allows is that even that gets split up into a bunch of little pieces so that even that is not just stored there. And so with this upgrade, we were able to retroactively delete all of the previous versions of iris codes, which were already much more secure than the industry standard of just storing things raw on a server. Now, just as this new cryptography can be applied for the use case of verifying people's biometric data, it turns out you can use that for a bunch of other things. So the foundation has actually published a paper and the actual system open source so that other organizations, whether it's companies or nonprofits, can use this new technology to protect their data. So for example, just last year, the Red Cross released a paper where they were looking into different ways of securing people's health data so that they could be shared to improve people's health, but in a secure manner. And they identified SMPC, so this technology, as the ideal candidate. But they said at the time that it was probably unfeasible technically because it was just really inefficient. It was slow. It was really compute expensive, which just means it's really expensive to run. But with this new system, with this new breakthrough that the foundation has announced, someone like the Red Cross can apply that system to secure, in their case, health data, or someone like Facebook could use it to secure just user data in general. So this is not just specific to biometric data.
Interesting. Now, focusing on privacy concerns, since Worldcoin launched last year, criticism related to privacy surrounding its key feature led to some regulators to look into the project. In March, Spain's privacy watchdog ordered Worldcoin to temporarily stop operating in the country amid concerns about what it was doing with the personal information of users. And then a few weeks later, Worldcoin was hit with another ban in Europe when Portugal's data regulator ordered it to stop collecting biometric data for 90 days. So what's the latest update tied to those bans? And are these recent data protection announcements from the Worldcoin Foundation a direct response to those privacy concerns?
Yeah, so first, I think it's important to clarify that Worldcoin hasn't been banned anywhere in the world. Generally, any country where there's operations, we're probably either Tools for Humanity or the foundation or whoever is running operations in a given country is in close contact with regulators, both financial and privacy regulators. Most of the times when regulators need to look into a system to understand and to make sure that what we're saying is in fact true, they can do that while operations are going on. In some cases, like you mentioned in Spain and Portugal, they will request that we temporarily pause operations so that they can perform the review of the system. While that's not ideal, it's something that we understand and we respect. And so now in terms of these upgrades like this one being related to that, I think that regulators and experts always make it clear like where they think the system can be better. But in general, something like this research has been a deep area of investment and of research for more than a year. And that is the case with many of the things that have been announced over the past year. And so we certainly take the input that regulators or the community has, and that also just helps prioritize, okay, in this really long roadmap, how do you, which things do you tackle first? But in general, something like SMPC has been in the works since last year, and it's just a really difficult problem that is well beyond the state of the art of what anyone does, not just in biometrics, but any type of data privacy.
So what's the latest tied to Spain and Portugal? Are those temporary pauses now no longer in effect? I think Portugal probably still is since it was 90 days, but what about Spain?
Yes, so both of those requests were 90 days. We're still in that 90-day period and nothing yet to announce in regards to that.
And you are in fact working with both regions to try and sort out their concerns?
Yeah, in general, any country where there's orgs, you can probably bet that we are in close contact with the regulators, just explaining the systems, addressing any concerns that they have. Yeah.
I just came across an article this week that said that Malaysia's regulator approved the trading of the Worldcoin token. What's your reaction to that development?
Yeah, so in general, I don't talk a lot about the token. We're always excited about working with countries in general. In the case of Malaysia specifically, it's public that there were some meetings with the government a couple of weeks ago. We are generally very excited about governments, just like companies, using these open protocols that we're building. If they find them useful, if they find that even with all the privacy restrictions, they're good for their use cases, like we're very excited for them to adopt the technologies that the Worldcoin protocol is putting out there.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World. We will be back here again tomorrow. See you then.